Welcome back to Cape Critiquers. This week we are reviewing the long-anticipated Deadpool and Wolverine. Directed by Sean Levy, starring Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman, this is a groundbreaking moment for the Marvel Cinematic Universe, uniting two of Marvel's most popular characters on the big screen. In today's episode, we will be talking about some topics like the on-screen chemistry between Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds, the way that the movie balances its humor and action sequences, the greater impact of the film on the MCU, Easter eggs and references to the comics, and of course, our own critiques and opinions about the film. So sit back, relax, and enjoy as we dive deep into the world of Deadpool and Wolverine.
So, what were your initial impressions after watching Deadpool and Wolverine?
I really fucking enjoyed this movie. It was really, really fun.
Yeah.
Probably the most fun I've had at the theater in a long time.
It was a roller coaster of laughter and emotion. It's definitely interesting and great characters together.
Did it live up to everyone's expectations?
Yeah,
100%.
I think so, yeah.
Right?
100%.
I
Definitely.
think it
We
even
were hyped for
surpassed
it.
my expectations.
Yeah.
It was somehow more fun.
We
than I
waited
thought.
so long for this,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and I was 110% satisfied.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've out of the the 3 movies that already came out, I've never laughed the hardest.
Yeah.
Other than this movie.
This one was something about it. It was just sharper, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. They really put everything into this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I even feel like Ryan Reynolds was just like, he's never been more Deadpool in his
Yeah.
Right.
entire career.
Completely embodied the
Yeah.
character.
I thought the acting was probably the best in this one
I-
out
Yeah.
of like any of them.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Definitely.
Every line, every joke just hit
Mhm.
perfectly.
I don't know about that. I feel like there were a lot of lines that kind of just like fell flat in theater.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know.
Like there was just jokes where people didn't laugh at all in the theater.
I feel like I was laughing at, pretty much
I mean, yeah, like I was laughing at most
I
of
think
them,
a good
but
amount of them went over people's heads, too.
like a lot of them,
Mhm.
just nobody laughed, and that's a fact. But I feel like my biggest issue that I had with the movie is the story is probably the worst out of all of them.
I don't know if it's the worst. It's just, like, the least, like, full.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
Like you could probably write it out in like a sentence, you know.
I'm still, like, fighting with myself if it's a good or bad thing, though.
I mean, yeah, like it's pretty impressive, like what you can do, just like
That little of, like, a story, almost.
yeah, you know, and just like building it all off of like the relationship between Deadpool and Wolverine and like all the cameos, of course.
But the basis was basically they were going to take Deadpool out of his time, put him into another one, make him an Avenger,
Yeah.
and prune that timeline.
Yeah.
And that was the basis until he overheard that a Wolverine would help save it.
And then in, like, his own, like, just ignorance,
Mhm.
just thinking, obviously, we're getting way ahead here, but, like, it does work.
Yeah.
But his ignorance to think that it would work,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
to find another Wolverine and replace him.
Yeah.
It's just like, it is like a funny concept.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
weird, and like you said, the world that he's on
Mm-hmm.
is in Logan's world.
Yes.
So apparently, whatever happened, they never really give a date,
Yeah.
what year
Mm-hmm.
they're in. But Logan dies 2029.
Yeah.
So for the X-Men to still be there,
Mm-hmm.
they didn't die till after wherever they are now, and
Mm-hmm.
Logan being old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe that's an event, like you said, that bothered you. The X-Men are there. Colossus is alive.
Well, I mean, it doesn't bother me. It's just like
No, but maybe
what
that
bothers
event
me
didn't
more is
happen
like
yet.
trying to make sense of it because it's not supposed to make sense.
I
You
know.
know, it's fucking
know.
Deadpool.
Yeah. This movie just felt so much like a Deadpool comic book.
Yeah.
Just with how almost like streamlined it was, and just
Mhm.
like how like you're just all along for the ride of this like silly world, you
Mhm.
know?
That was pretty wild. Cameos and Easter eggs and everything else everywhere. I mean,
Yeah.
you
And
really.
I also feel like at no point is it like trying to dumb it down for you,
Mhm.
where it's like even trying, like you said, to make sense of it. Like this is just how it is here.
Mhm.
You know?
That is Deadpool for you.
Mhm.
There's no making sense.
Well, I just mean like making sense of Deadpool's universe.
I know
Like
what you
everything
mean.
else is fine.
Yeah,
you
but
know?
I just think overall, like it kind of just had like there is a suspension of disbelief with everything that revolves around him.
Well,
So.
you guys apparently didn't get the memo.
Wow.
Dang.
I really like the Deadpool and Wolverine relationship and
Yeah.
dynamics.
Mm.
I mean, just the chemistry from Reynolds and Jackman is off the charts.
You know, and,
Yeah.
and they can say what they want. It's a Marvel movie, blah, blah. It doesn't matter. But these guys actually brought real acting talent to it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
There's this one scene in the movie where they're at the TVA and a drunk Wolverine's on the ground and they're talking shit about him. And just that look on his face, like it's all fucking true.
Mm-hmm.
And just that hurt in his face that even here I'm getting it, you know?
Yeah.
And just knowing that because of him, basically, in his eyes, they're all dead.
Yeah.
And you could just see that in his face. That's pretty powerful.
Hugh Jackman was
He was
fucking
on
incredible
spot
in
on.
this movie.
Yeah.
He was spot on. You know, even with the jokes, everything. You
Yeah.
know, and dropping the F-bomb all the time.
Yeah, I don't know if there was a point where he was on screen where he didn't do it.
Yeah.
They
It's
got
always a
there.
fuck.
It's
Yeah.
not technically an R-rated movie until you say "fuck" twice, and I'm
Mhm.
pretty sure they said it
Oh,
within
he-
like the first
No
2
doubt.
seconds.
Fuck!
Yeah,
But I really like how they did like the trope of like the second act or third act breakup,
mm-hmm.
where
Mhm.
like they didn't really completely break up, but like it was just like a strain on the relationship with
Mhm.
like him, the wish or educated wish
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I
That
liked
was-
it.
They held that together pretty well in the whole movie.
Yeah.
Even when it was funny and serious, that whole educated wish thing was pretty wild. So I liked it.
Mm-hmm.
So the opening scene, it's one of those things where like you couldn't guess what it would be
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah,
Him
exactly.
fucking digging up Logan's grave,
Right.
Thinking he's still alive in there.
That's
Yeah.
not how regeneration works.
No.
Yeah,
adamantium skeleton, using it as weapons against the TVA.
fucking and just set to
Mhm.
"Bye Bye Bye."
Yeah.
Yeah.
That song's been stuck in my head. This whole like every song from this movie, I think is paired perfectly.
Yeah.
Which technically proved what we were talking about at one time.
Yeah,
Can Wolverine get ripped in half with his adamantium
True.
skeleton?
So yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
because
Just like it.
He was picking pieces off that thing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, who knows? Because the healing factor's not going at this
Yeah,
point.
but it wasn't. It wasn't fused adamantium.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There had to be bone or whatever in between those pieces that he was just able to snap because it wasn't being
Yeah.
revealed.
One other detail that I noticed is once he picked up Wolverine's basically claws or his hands, did you notice when he was fighting, he did have a bit of a hard time moving around because they're so heavy.
Yeah,
So I was like, that's a cool detail.
yeah, definitely. I mean, this opening sequence was great.
It was
Even the
awesome.
title, like the credits and everything, is going is so great.
Amazing.
It's a really fun way to do it.
Yeah.
I did kind of hate when like the like in between of that, when it was this is how we got here.
I didn't mind it because that's the Deadpool.
I know,
That's how
but like
Deadpool
for
does
the
it.
first
I'd
two.
just say it is the least interesting out of all of them.
Yeah, I guess.
I don't know.
Okay.
I
Because
like
I don't really care that he's like down on his luck and all that,
My least favorite part of the movie is probably the interview with Happy Hogan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Just because, like, it almost has like nothing to do with anything. It just
it had nothing to
meant
do with it.
to
And he
connect us
just
to 616.
and I know he's done a lot of great stuff for Marvel and all that stuff, but he just did not seem committed in that happy
Mhm.
in that whole scene. I don't know.
Was he the only MCU character in the whole movie?
Thor
I-
was crying.
Oh, yeah, Thor was
That was
crying.
from Thor: The Dark World. which-
Right.
Yeah, it's
Mhm.
Loki
Reused.
in
Yeah.
that scene originally.
Yeah.
See, I thought we were going to see Loki in this movie
I-
at some point.
Yeah, same.
Didn't think we would.
No.
They should have at least mentioned.
Yeah.
But he's technically running.
The
He is the
TVA.
TVA right
yeah.
now, right?
Yeah, he was the
They,
trick.
they
right?
mentioned that something has changed in the TVA.
Mhm.
He's pretty much just like a breaker right now for the TVA.
Mhm.
But I mean, we got B-15, Hunter
Yeah.
B-15.
Mhm.
Oh yeah. I don't know. I was thinking MCU as in like from like 616, But I guess
Yeah.
we got like some hunters and all that.
Yeah, I mean, like, she is technically an MCU character and Happy. I think that was pretty much it as
Yeah.
far as on screen.
What'd you think of? Maybe I'm jumping ahead here, but Cassandra Nova.
I think that her acting was great.
Mm-hmm.
I think she was like clearly having fun
Mhm.
being the character.
Mhm.
I just don't think character itself was like very fleshed out.
Yeah. I thought she was better than Paradox. It's like a villain because
I
like
agree.
Paradox
Yeah.
was just like I don't want to wait 1,000 years.
Yeah.
Her motivations also though were kind of like
Well, I mean, it made
Whatever.
more sense because like she fucking likes the void, I guess, and
Yeah.
she doesn't want
Yeah.
people to mess with that again.
mhm. I guess she did have more motivation than Paradox for sure.
Yeah.
Paradox is just I don't know really what his motivation.
He didn't want to wait 1,000 years,
Yeah,
even though he will anyways.
yeah, and he can't die.
Oh well, he also wanted to run TVA
Yeah,
because
I don't know. That's a bit convoluted.
yeah.
Yeah, he was kind of a slapstick villain.
I thought he was a better actor, though, to
Yeah.
be honest.
Yeah.
He pairs well with Deadpool.
Yeah.
His actor did a good job because genuinely he was just annoying the fuck out of me throughout
Yeah.
the movie. So I kind of liked it when she was like,
That was some pretty
that was
wild
like
stuff.
pretty
That was
impressive CGI.
that
too.
Yeah, it
really-
was.
Yeah,
That was pretty
'cause
wild.
It made me like,
When she was walking with him with her
Yeah.
hands
Yeah.
still in him.
Like I'd say it's pretty much flawless.
yeah,
Mhm.
You know?
I can agree with that.
There is some stuff in the movie though that like I'm surprised they got that so good, but like it's kind of like Logan. There was just like video game characters like bodies. At
Yeah, I think
points.
the worst
Mhm.
offense of it is when they jump out of the back of the bus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also think the real reason Wolverine put his mask on is kind of like in The Flash when we were talking about how Michael Keaton probably wasn't doing all those action
The
moves.
stunts.
Yeah.
Probably.
I don't know. Still, though, it was fun to see him put on the mask.
There's
I mean,
no
yeah,
doubt.
like limitations are often,
Yeah.
I mean, the man is 50-something years old.
But I can see why it got
60.
after he put that mask on. Then you got some kid with a action figure of that mask, and just to know that Ryan Reynolds called those things
Yeah.
like blowjob hands or something, or hooks or
Blowjob
something.
handles,
I mean,
yeah.
handles. I'm like, oh dear God. I mean, how does a parent buy a kid
There
that
was a
thing
lot
now?
of sex jokes in this
There was
movie.
definitely a lot of
Oh, yeah.
heavy sex jokes in this
Yeah.
movie, no doubt.
I like Cassandra Nova. I didn't know much about her.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Power-wise, I thought she was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, how do you beat her?
Right.
But
When
they
she-
figured it out, and then they let her go.
When she basically peeled Johnny Storm.
Yeah, oh my
you know,
God.
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit,
Yeah.
in a split second.
Yeah.
And the actress that played her was just phenomenal because she actually, I mean, when you looked at her facial expressions, you could almost say like she was really enjoying this shit.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Mhm.
Emma Corrin, she did a
Yeah,
good
she was
job.
great.
There's one scene that I really loved that she did because you can almost believe her. Was when she was talking to Wolverine in his like dream world. She tells him, "I can make all the voices go away. I can make you
Yeah,
feel
that
peace."
scene was great.
And then you could see it like her face just gives him like a sense of peace when she does that, and you're like, "Holy shit, yeah, I believe that."
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, the performance there was great.
it was
for sure.
amazing. Good job on her part.
The one thing that confused me a bit, and I guess it's just like a continuity thing, but they set her power up where like she has to like actually physically touch the brain.
Mm-hmm.
But like there were several moments where like she just like teleported, kind of, like she just wasn't close enough, and then she suddenly was,
Mhm.
Well,
Yeah.
what are her abilities? Do we know?
It's just like super telekinesis, and then like pretty much telepath, except she has to touch their brain to do
But
it.
what about that scene when she basically filleted Chris Evans? Remember she does this? She's like,
Well, yeah, that's the
what is
telekinesis.
That's telekinesis?
Yeah,
Shit. I didn't
it's just
know
more
telekinesis could do
controlled
that.
telekinesis, I guess.
Fuck.
Like instead of lifting him up, she's just taking his skin.
One more thing I wanted to say on like the story is that like they kind of lampshaded it where like they pointed out that it was a bad story with like calling out the MCU for like multiverse and
Mhm.
stuff,
Mhm.
but like that doesn't really make it better, And I feel like it is like kind of better than most multiverse stories so far.
Yeah.
So
The whole thing just felt very streamlined.
yeah.
And that's a word that I keep using
Mhm.
for it, but like it did, it didn't feel rushed though. I don't know if I wanted more because I was enjoying it and it was only 2 hours, or if like it really needed it. But maybe it could have used like another 30 minutes, another
Yeah.
hour.
Well, I think I kind of understand where you're coming from because when we left, I told my dad, we're not going to see another Deadpool movie for another, couple of years. So
Yeah.
I kind of felt hungry for more.
Mhm.
Like I enjoyed it that much.
Yeah, and also like a big thing that we were talking about beforehand was like, all right, this is like the next big thing for the MCU,
Mhm.
and like this really wasn't that at all.
No.
Yeah.
This more so was a love letter to the Fox universe.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It was actually an obituary to
Yeah.
the Fox
Yeah.
universe.
Yeah.
They kind of killed everything that was ever Fox off.
Mhm.
And you're right. They didn't remember what I said was give me a story and merge me in with tell me where I am in the MCU.
Yeah.
And they,
Now I'm left with more questions.
Yeah,
about
if-
that
yeah.
really.
initially he was going. That's what they wanted to do with him was literally put him in the MCU universe as a hero amongst heroes,
Mhm.
Yeah,
and that never happened. So now we're still nothing gelled.
it still never answered why Thor's crying in
Right.
Deadpool.
right.
He's needed. I like how they also got out of the way. Like, is this because I use Cable's time thing? He's like, no, we know all about that. There's nothing to do with that. Come with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like they got that out of the way, but then we don't yet know what Wade's higher purpose is.
What?
Mhm.
Right.
Like he saves his universe at the end, but there's still more to be done.
A lot of questions. Yeah.
With that said, they'll be back. Like,
Oh,
for
I'm sure he's going to
100%,
be
yeah.
back. I'm
Oh,
just.
yeah.
I'm just kind of now that we brought it up, a little disappointed that by the end of the movie, there's still no MCU connection going forward. It's him back on his world.
Yes. I loved this movie and I thought it was great, but this definitely feels more like an appetizer than it does a full meal.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed.
Yeah, chef.
So many scenes in this were just one purpose. Like the happy scene, I feel like it was only to really set up the theme of you have to be the role that people need you to be, not the role you need.
Mhm.
Right.
And I feel like that wasn't even like paid off that well, honestly.
I don't know, but that kind of describes Tony Stark, though.
Yeah.
He never really put himself out as doing it for other people. He kind of was the technology and making himself feel,
Yeah.
Satisfied, yeah.
and powerful.
My favorite side character was Gambit.
He was really
He played
good.
it
Really
well.
good.
There was a lot of good side characters in
Yeah.
this one. I'm kind of stuck. I'll probably give the edge to Gambit, but Wesley Snipes was pretty
Yeah.
fun.
He was funny.
too.
That came out of nowhere. For
Just
me.
like their first interaction where he's like, I thought you were retired.
Retarded.
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 It's fucking just incredible.
There's only one of me.
Funny.
Deadpool's
Yeah.
like,
There only ever will be.
There's only one blade. There's only ever gonna be one
One
blade.
blade.
It really seemed like they wanted to get a Punisher in there too.
Mhm.
They just probably couldn't, figure out a contract or whatever. But
I'm sure the budget was huge
yeah,
for that.
What you guys think of Gambit's accent?
it's
I love
terrible.
it.
It was terrible.
so
okay, I was about
horrible.
to say it was
I
But
thought it was
they
good.
know it's terrible.
egregious. Okay.
I hope they get him in the
I hope.
MCU. I hope it's not that accent.
Yeah.
It's god awful. But
Yeah,
like
Deadpool
they
makes fun
know
of
it's
it.
terrible.
Deadpool was
Deadpool
ripping
makes-
the shit out of it. What the fuck? What?
Can't
Yeah,
fucking understand you.
it's,
But he was fucking
it's so dumb.
incredible.
I loved it.
Yeah.
But he plays that dumb character so well.
So well.
Yeah.
Just so committed to it.
At
But I thought it was a
times,
great character.
It sounds really good, like on some lines, and then other lines, it's just like, what are you even talking about?
Right.
But I agree with you. Gambit's fighting scenes, especially, really impressed me.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
I also like the fact that they're like, it was very meta how Blade and Elektra were like, our worlds forgot about us or whatever, and like we never got to save those people. And Gambit's like, or our world never knew we existed.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
like, that movie never got off the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe I was born here.
Maybe I was born here. It's hard to know. Funny. And then also just like, I shot out of my daddy's
That's
balls
also
already.
great. I didn't know it then, but I shot out of my daddy's balls ready.
Yeah.
And then into
Great. My daddy had his greasy balls.
Oh, God. Oh, boy.
It's fucking hilarious. And he's like such the actor too. Like he loves doing
Channing
funny
Tatum.
shit like this. Yeah.
I feel like they probably saved some budget with him because like
Yeah.
it's
I mean,
kind of
he's
just
a
like a
friend
thing
of
where you
theirs.
wanted to do it,
Yeah.
I just felt like his costume was very constricting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Like they did too much. They could have.
Well, yeah, they
up
made
a
the whole
little bit.
joke about like the Batman,
Yeah.
the Clooney Batman suit,
Yeah.
where it has no real neck.
I thought he looked good, like great in action.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
I thought it was a
good. It was
good suit though.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's
You
a
know?
good, like it's the comic accurate Gambit.
Right.
suit,
Yeah.
so-
right.
Yeah.
It just I don't know. Just looked weird.
Yeah.
Again, I like the details too. Again, when he's fighting, you can see that his eyes turn purple.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Really cool.
Yeah, they really got to get him in the MCU.
They really
He has
do.
to be
Please.
the MCU Gambit.
He's just
Please.
hilarious.
Well, I don't know if I want him hilarious. I just think it like kind of proves that he can pull it off.
Yeah.
you know?
yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So some of the real cool scenes in the movie were when he was going around trying to find his Wolverine and jumping from time to time.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty funny. But when the Cavalry
The cavalry
was
it's like that,
hilarious.
I love that montage
Mhm.
of trying to find the Wolverine because it's just a collection of great in jokes where it's like, oh, the fans want this and that and that. It's like, here's your comic accurate Wolverine. He looks like a fucking idiot. Like he's this big.
Yeah.
He looks like a dumbass.
Yeah.
yeah, well, Wolverine really was small.
5'5".
Yeah, he's 5'5".
Yeah.
Well, they
Five.
made him like fucking 4'3".
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well.
Fans want Henry Cavill to play Wolverine forever. The voice he did was great.
Yeah.
You're just leaving. Sounded good.
And Superman punched him.
Yeah. I don't know if I want him to be Wolverine in the future, but
He looked really good in the Hulk suit.
Yeah.
I thought.
the brown
Yeah.
and tan.
Mm.
That was a good little nod. Finally get the Wolverine Hulk fight.
Mm-hmm.
That was cool.
I Marvel Jesus, you big alien. Punch them away.
That was a Loki kind of
Yeah.
vibe there.
What was the like old one? I think it was supposed to be like a Clint Eastwood.
It's
type of
like a
thing,
nod
right?
to Old Man Logan, I think.
Oh, okay.
Just an older one, yeah. And then they had Age of Apocalypse Wolverine too, with the stump hand.
Oh my, the fucking on the cross.
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
probably the funniest one.
That
just in
one was-
It's
context.
an Uncanny X-Men cover.
Yeah,
of
it is.
Wolverine being
Yeah.
tortured.
The second I saw it, I was like, "That's a cover."
Yeah.
I've seen that.
It's just like a Rick and Morty bit.
Yeah,
you know?
it's fucking hilarious. Yeah. It just falls in there too, just on the screen. It's like, what the fuck is this? It's like,
Skulls
okay?
everywhere.
yeah, some red skulls everywhere. And then
But you are going to a Deadpool movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
This
yeah.
is the shit that.
I like though when he's leaving, he was like, "Yeah, it's not you. We're just going another direction."
Another direction.
Just fucking like just the concept of him crucified, just fucking on like an X is hilarious.
Yeah, and then ultimately he winds up in a bar with the worst.
Back in a bar.
With
Worst
the worst
Wolverine.
Wolverine.
Yeah.
And nobody likes him.
It's just a fucking raging alcoholic.
Oh, when he drank that whole bottle, it's like, oh, you're
Yeah,
thirsty.
I had
honey
no idea what
badger,
he was gonna
aren't you?
do. He's like, "All right, watch this,"
Yeah.
Whoa. And then he just chucked the whole bottle. And that was it. I did like the goes to pick him up and he's very heavy, and then also he's like, "Whoa, look at these jammies." It took 20 fucking years.
The suit was pretty incredible.
Yeah,
I mean,
the
suit
cheesy
looked-
enough, but incredible.
Yeah, good.
I'd say it was pretty MCU-ified.
Mm-hmm.
I like it though. It's one of my favorite MCU suits for sure.
I don't know.
I agree. That was a good Wolverine
Yeah,
suit.
I'd say I
Even the cowl.
much preferred the Hulk.
that one did look great too.
That one looked good too, actually. Yeah.
Probably like I bet all the ones that we saw were like CGI.
Maybe I could see him.
Cause like the Fantastic Four, when we got Reed Richards and Multiverse of Madness, and even the Black Bolt, those were CGI. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
Speaking of Fantastic Four, should we already hop to that?
what?
Johnny Storm.
Oh yeah, I guess yeah, that was a pretty good character.
That was great.
Intro.
I mean, I don't know how I didn't see it coming, but I didn't. If from a mile.
Well, I
away.
mean, like he had like a red on his suit.
Yeah, he had red and blue, so I'm like, oh, it's Cap.
Yeah, they I was fully invested in like, oh, this is like this, Void World Cap is gonna be on their team. That's cool. I wasn't expecting that, and they played it perfectly. He's gonna say it, Avengers Assemble, let's go, and then just flame on. What the fuck? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
and
thought.
and he's done in an instant.
Yeah.
Too. But it was a good.
But it was just funny watching him drop the F bombs and everything else too, though.
Yeah, the post credit was great.
Oh, that was
Yeah.
hilarious.
really went off.
He had a bit of de-aging on him for sure.
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely.
But I thought Chris Evans was good in this one for sure. It's a great cameo.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm like you. It came out of left field. I
Yeah.
was waiting for Cap,
Yeah.
and
I think overall, all the cameos, they weren't like goofy and took away from the story. If anything, they all worked to accelerate the story in a
Yeah.
meaningful way.
Yeah. And you saw why they were pruned.
Yeah. Funny that, the rest of them are, I guess, already killed by Eliath.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, yeah. It's just funny to think about like that.
Yeah. What did you think of the music?
I thought the soundtrack in this one was
Yeah, it
great.
was-
Yeah,
it was
fit-
Probably my
fit the
favorite out
movie.
of all three Deadpool movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
It worked.
Even just like the scene with the guy who like is calling HR when Deadpool like goes to just like dive over him. It's like, I don't want. It's like that. I don't want you to know who I am. It's like, and he's like, so fucking. It's like a Family Guy joke.
Yeah.
It's just so
Yeah.
fucking funny.
That guy
I
was
thought it
hilarious.
really improved over Deadpool 2.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of what Deadpool 2 was like aiming for, I
Mhm.
guess.
hey, they got Madonna.
Even was
Yeah.
it even that car scene with Wolverine
Oh.
and Deadpool fighting
Well,
each other
that was
before we
over.
even get to
hilarious.
that, the
Yeah.
first fight set to AC/DC was fucking
yeah.
incredible.
Yeah, that was cool. That was
Yeah.
a really cool fight.
And then the car scene.
They
set
were
to
just brutal
Grease
in the car
was
scene.
So good.
Just
They-
brutal.
Yeah, the Odyssey.
I'm gonna fight
Odyssey.
you.
Yeah, the Honda Odyssey.
I'm the Odyssey. Yeah.
I'm gonna fight you.
I'm
now.
gonna fight you now.
Yeah.
And he's looking at him like. Then he punches him in the nose. Oh fuck!
Yeah.
That was it. Oh
I
my
mean, just
God.
having two guys that can't die and constantly regenerate to fight is so fucking fun.
I mean, even the joke where he's like, "Oh, you know what? No, the Honda Odyssey is a fucking car that
Yeah.
fucks. You
The
don't
Honda
though."
Odyssey fucks. You don't though, needle dick.
Hilarious. Oh
great.
my god.
I also thought like a lot of the fight like choreography that they had for Wolverine, CGI or not at times, was like we've never seen him do shit
Yeah.
like that.
No.
Like, crawling
Awesome.
Oh,
around.
yeah.
was
That was
fucking cool.
that surprised the shit out of me when he
Yeah.
did that. I was like, "What? He could fucking do that?"
Yeah,
Yeah. Like
even the way that he
Sabretooth.
lunges like into the car at one point was great.
Yeah. That was
Really cool.
really fucking cool. And I don't think I've ever seen Wolverine actually when they jump from the bus where he does that
Yeah.
Mhm.
that pose.
Yeah.
I Only in the comics would we ever see that. So that
Yeah.
was cool.
I liked how a lot of their like fights were like unique because it was like based on like that they could heal, you know,
Right.
Mhm.
like shooting into the kidneys.
Yeah.
You wouldn't
was-
see that.
first
yeah.
scene
You know?
when
That-
when he was underneath them and he took his two
Yeah.
guns out and he's like,
You ready to be
It's
calm
like
now?
completely pain based.
It's so funny.
right,
That
exactly.
was cool.
Yeah. I also loved how like when they got into the Western standoff, you just saw the bullets fall,
Just-
and then it cuts back to Wolverine's like, "Ooh," and he has to pull it in his mouth.
That was
And that big Sabretooth fight
Oh,
that
yeah.
we'd all
Yeah,
been waiting
yeah.
for.
Oh yeah.
Cuts his head off. The
the
finger.
quickest
happening.
drop ever.
Mhm.
Oh my god!
The
But he was
Furiosa
ready.
joke there.
Yeah.
Very-
That was fucking amazing.
That was hilarious.
I know it's pronounced him.
I like the group in the like Ant-Man head or
Mhm.
like body, I guess.
Just like all those mutants. The Russian was there.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was cool.
What do you guys think of Pyro?
I thought he was great.
It's cool,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
it is kind of weird that like they made him like kind of like a B tier the character for this.
Mhm.
And I like that, like you explained it, that his whole power is he can take flame.
Yeah,
Mhm.
he can't create it, but he can wield it.
So when Johnny Storm flew up and was like, hot shit, just took it away from
Yeah.
him. What else are you going to do?
Mhm.
So very cool details here.
They certainly like showed off Fox's trash heap. Or I guess Marvel's
Yeah.
trash heap of
Yeah.
Fox properties.
Yeah.
And then sitting in a diner eating Spam.
Yeah, and drinking, rubbing
Drinking.
alcohol.
Yeah, and rubbing alcohol.
I like that scene a lot. It was a
Mhm.
good scene.
But I mean, Spam. I mean, makes a center. I mean, they probably sold a lot of Spam on this movie
Probably
alone.
sold a lot of Honda Odysseys too.
Probably, yeah.
I feel like the spam was kind of like a meta joke
Mhm.
because like it's like spam, like kind of relating into like everything in the void, I guess.
Mhm.
Why so many Deadpools though?
Deadpools are a dime
Because-
a dozen.
Yeah, dime a dozen, all pains in the asses, I
Yeah.
guess. So they all get pruned.
But they all have a Fred.
Peter.
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 All got a Peter.
Yeah.
I like how he had huge balls at the end.
Yeah, what the hell was that? You got a set of balls.
Also, just like the weird sexual tension between Peter and B-15.
Yeah.
She's like, you
You
were
look-
wearing the fuck out of that suit.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. And also in the beginning when he was like, yeah, a friend of mine got like a chain
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
And then he's like, pull on it. And then he pulls it. Oh, and he's like, that's the fun part.
What's it do?
That's the fun part. What are you talking about?
Oh my god.
We also got to see Blake Lively
Yeah.
as
Yes.
Lady Pool.
So Matthew McConaughey voiced Cowboy Deadpool,
Mhm.
which
Cool.
was funny.
Which was
And
cool.
then Nathan Fillion was
I
the
seen
voice
him.
of Headpool.
Headpool.
Yeah.
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 So, yeah. Ryan Reynolds' kids were the two younger Deadpool.
Oh, were they
Yeah.
really?
Really? I didn't
Yeah.
know that.
That's
Child
hilarious.
one, or Kid Pool, I guess,
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
Wow.
his older daughter, and then the baby was his newest child.
She's the dirtiest.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I thought the character like arcs in this one were worse than Deadpool 2 and Logan. It was better handled in those
Yeah.
movies.
It was
Yeah.
almost missing some like meat and potatoes for it.
Maybe it's not like a natural point for them to even be in like
Yeah.
in this movie, you know.
I'd say that this one was more a comedy than it was a superhero movie.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I agree.
Which I mean I don't have problems with, but they definitely left out some real like maturing moments, I
Mhm.
guess, for their
Yeah.
arcs.
It's kind of like if Thor: Love and Thunder was like
Good.
funny,
Yeah.
I guess,
Yeah.
and had
Something also
cameos.
that bothered me at the end was like B-15's like, yeah, like can't do anything about Logan's world, and he's like, all right, fuck it, like I'll go get like food. He just like didn't care anymore.
Wow.
It was kind of strange to me.
I kind of didn't like how like the logic of like yeah it just works, you know, it matches up, I guess, you know.
I think though you could use your same argument of like it's Deadpool.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I don't know.
You know, you put a Deadpool and a Wolverine together and you make them listen to Madonna.
I don't know. It's just weird.
Fixes everything.
Fair.
It is a very Deadpool explanation for why it would work.
It would have been nice to see Cable again, but they
He didn't
even.
test well in the focus group.
I guess he didn't.
That's what they said.
Yeah.
I'm actually curious though. With Cable, with that little gadget he has, he can jump from one universe to another, right?
Mhm.
Mhm.
Wouldn't that cause multiple different incursions?
Yeah, I'm sure that this movie caused multiple
Mhm.
different incursions.
Well,
too.
what even happened to the like one that he had, that Deadpool had?
Deadpool
He
said he
said
destroyed
he
it.
destroyed it after he was done.
So Cable never had that one then.
No.
That's a good point.
Something to think about.
What did you think of like when they went into Nova's skull head
I thought it was
room?
great. I loved like the bring 'em out, and then just like you know the whole team assembles, and then
Mhm.
the trunk pops open, and Wolverine does come along.
Yeah.
I guess to backtrack a little bit, I love the scene with him and Daphne Keene.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Where he explains what he did, or
Mhm.
lack of what he did, I guess, that got all of the X-Men killed. And then she's like, I can guess the rest. He's like, no, like, I need
to
say it.
Mhm.
I thought that was a great scene.
I don't know though. Like the explanation for like how the X-Men died for me was kind of flat.
I think it's just very vague.
Yeah, like I would have liked to know a little bit
Well,
more.
they said the humans came hunting.
And we
Yeah.
don't know who it is. It could
Yeah,
be...
who the humans.
There's, you know,
How would
several human groups in the
Mhm.
X-Men.
Yeah, how are they even able to take on the X-Men?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sentinels.
Well, I don't think he
this,
meant
that.
it's kind of just like
Yeah.
Just,
the point is that
Sometimes.
like he's the worst because he didn't even try.
right.
You know.
But then
Right.
I think it's also like you're meant to believe he, you know, he killed all the bad humans and then he just kept killing good
Mhm.
humans. Like, did
Yeah,
he kill
like,
other heroes? in
yeah,
his
I just wish
universe?
they fleshed that out a little bit more.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah,
that was
they
weird
definitely
to me.
purposefully didn't, though. You know what I mean? Like, I wish that they did too, but it was definitely intentional not
And
to.
it definitely
not
keeps
to.
you thinking. There's no doubt.
Yeah, it makes you try and figure out what happened.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I could
and maybe
understand
that's the allure of it. Like, you almost like can't make up how bad
Yeah.
it was.
that. Yeah,
Because he does say, you know, I didn't stop with the bad people.
Mhm.
yeah.
I don't know. It
Hmm.
just doesn't make sense to me though. Like, why would he? You know.
Because he's the Wolverine.
I think it's kind of like a play on Old Man Logan. Like
Maybe.
he didn't kill the X-Men, but he just went on a killing rampage.
I
Kind
mean,
of.
it doesn't kill good people in that.
I know, but that's why I'm saying it's like a play on that.
Play gone wrong. How about that then?
So Leslie Uggams, Blind Owl.
Yes.
Oh,
She was great in this movie.
She rocked
she
it.
always-
Yes.
Yes, she was
she can
great.
somehow see cocaine.
Yeah.
But-
the only thing she can see is
Is
cocaine.
cocaine.
I do like it's a nod to the comics, the fact that Blind Owl and Deadpool share a bed.
Yeah, I'm shaking like
Yeah.
an angry vibrator.
Yeah. He's like horrible to her in the comics. He
Uh-huh.
like basically just entraps her in his home, but she doesn't give up on him because she thinks he can be a hero.
I actually feel bad for the people in that room. His 9 favorite people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They had the smallest, insignificant part in
Mhm.
this
Yeah.
whole thing.
Yeah.
Good to see Morena
Baccarin.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
back
I-
with him at the end.
Mhm.
I
You
do
know.
like though that, you know, so much of like their story is told through just like what they mean to Deadpool,
Right.
more than like having to show it.
Mhm.
Speaking of that though, since like we got Cassandra Nova flashback thing,
Mhm.
it was kind of weird to me how when it was showing Wolverines, it like showed the events of Logan.
Yeah.
You know.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah, which is
I don't
weird
know.
because he was from a different timeline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
I-
a different one. So
what
that's
I
kinda
chopped
weird.
that up to is like that was more for us
Mhm.
than it was for the continuity of the story.
It's weird.
Yeah. It's definitely a weird choice, but like this movie is supposed to also just be like a love letter to like, you know, if you've
guess.
watched all those.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
Which
definitely
thankfully we did watch all of those.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Wesley Snipes could have pulled off Blade.
Yeah.
yeah.
I think he
Oh,
could
yeah.
again.
Could
I
definitely
mean,
make
whatever
another
they're
Blade.
planning on, but
Yeah.
he looked badass.
He looks good for
really
however
badass.
old he is.
especially with the white
Yeah.
Yeah.
chin.
And
Very
then, of
nice.
course, you know, some motherfucker's still trying to ice skate up in here.
Yeah.
What does that even mean?
That's just in a line that he
I know.
improvised in, like,
Mhm.
Trinity, I think.
Oh.
I
Might have been
skate
the first.
uphill.
Yeah, motherfucker's still trying to ice skate uphill. Yeah. Just even their interactions where it's like, I don't like you. You never did.
I love X-23
Yeah.
Oh,
taking
yeah.
down Juggernaut like
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man.
You know,
Mhm.
you can't, he's unstoppable, but I guess if you cut off his fucking feet.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Jesus.
Oh
Fucking-
man.
She was ferocious
Yeah.
too. That
Oh,
was
yeah.
just nuts.
I like how she's like starting to grow into like Wolverine. You
Yeah.
know, like just
Mhm.
she didn't really speak that much. You know.
Yeah.
No.
She also, I know she had an X-Men belt.
Yeah. I also like how she used her foot claws a lot more than in
Mhm.
Logan. To be honest.
Right.
It just felt like more they mattered. You know.
Yeah.
That also makes me curious. Do you think they're gonna use her for the female Wolverine in the future?
I hope so.
That would be
I
cool.
guess she's in the universe.
Yeah.
That would be
Whatever
really, really
whatever
cool.
that means.
And
if it's-
she's still pretty young.
yeah,
So,
she's only
yeah.
19.
wow.
Yeah.
What did we think of the ending sequence with like all the Deadpools and the Time Ripper and all that?
I like the scene with all the Deadpools. That was
Yeah, that was
It was funny, but I
feel like-
that was like probably one of my least favorite scenes of the whole movie, though.
Mm.
And that to me kind of felt like the like spiritual ending to the movie. You know.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because I feel like the like Time Ripper kind of just like that's when I was starting to like tune out, you know.
Mhm.
Especially like I feel like the actual scene of it went on for fucking way too long, you
Yeah.
know, extra 4 minutes.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was just like a confusing ending to like a
What's the
story that
purpose
like
of a
wasn't really
time
too
ripper?
full to begin with.
And why only this guy can build one?
Mhm.
I mean, if you're a Doctor Doom or something, you
Mm,
could have built
yeah.
one like that. But
Yeah, well, yeah, you're right. I wonder, like, I guess it's maybe like the TVA is only people that has like the fuel, or I don't know.
I don't
Yeah.
know. Yeah, it's
Fucking
weird.
I'm gonna get the no prize
They
card.
just needed it for the story. you know?
Yeah, it definitely wasn't the best ending.
Yeah, I don't know. Just like it's also just like a bland like energy battle, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I do want to say one scene though, when Cassandra first comes out into the world and she throws Wolverine and Deadpool like half a block away through into the.
Mhm.
I like felt that.
Yeah.
I
Oh, yeah.
thought that was such a brutal freaking like boom.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, holy shit!
Yeah.
Thank God those two guys can get up. You know.
It was actually pretty cool when she rolled in the wheelchair.
Yeah,
Oh,
that
and
was
it stops
such a.
and she's at the top of the ramp, and then the ramp turns into stairs.
Yeah.
You know.
I
she
also
she doesn't know Charles.
no.
No, apparently she was killed during
She was
birth or in the
killed in the
womb.
womb.
She was taken from the womb and put into the void, right?
Yeah.
Like he killed her in the womb because she tried to kill him,
Right.
like every other universe.
Right.
But
Mhm.
then she survives, and then as a baby, was put to the void.
Into the void.
Wow.
My issue with the ending is like there's not enough of like a story almost where it's like I don't even understand like what we're really wrapping up
Yeah.
at times.
Like I'd say it doesn't even like the theme of like be who you need and all that. It didn't really fulfill that for me at all.
The one thing that bothered me with Cassandra a little bit is after the whole helmet situation where they put the helmet on her and she's like, Wolverine like tells him, take the helmet off, it's fine. I don't know if I didn't enjoy the factor of she's like, okay, here's a portal, have fun.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I just felt, I don't know, there's something off about that.
I loved suck it, Fox. You're pulling the boot. Like that's something I really enjoyed with this movie. Like they have gotten so much better with like the fourth wall break.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I like how
They're like adventurous with it.
for some reason the
The
like,
nice pool.
Yeah, he can do it too.
Yeah.
But it's just like
the proposal.
yeah. is that what you people think this is?
I'm like, I don't know what the fuck he was talking about.
You're gonna live. You're gonna
Yeah,
live.
it's just the
Yeah.
nice pool's the one Deadpool that can't regenerate.
Yeah.
How long does it take you to regenerate?
And he's like, regenerate?
And then he uses them anyway.
We're gonna live.
Say it.
I like how Deadpool's like, yeah, he died for this, and then Logan's like, no, he died for murder,
Murder.
you fucking idiot.
Then they wouldn't shoot the dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wolverine, right? He's
Hold
just
your
walking.
fire. What a cute puppy.
And I just love he just picks up the golden desert eagles.
Yeah.
That's what he wants.
That's
Yeah.
all he wanted. That's what
It's like
he
now these two gold-plated desert eagles.
He
The only thing I
wanted-
can remember him
wanted
by.
the desert eagles and the puppy.
I thought that the fight scene was great, and I
Yeah.
liked the use of like a prayer. I didn't know how they were going to
Mhm.
incorporate it, but totally exceeded my expectations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just hilarious. Just
Apparently, that was like the scene I think that they had written first or something. Like Ryan Reynolds like always had that idea to use like a prayer for something like that. Just another great example of the soundtrack working.
Mhm.
So when they come back into the world and they land on a car, that was another Honda
It
Odyssey.
was a Kia.
Oh, it was a
Carnival,
Kia, that's
the
right,
one that
that's
he was
what it
trying to
was. Yeah.
sell in the beginning.
Yeah.
And he's like, "So why is it better than Odyssey?" Well, because it doesn't fucking suck. I also like how Peter was like, "Yeah, Wade's my partner, so I'll make sure he gets 50% of the," and then he just crashes. There's a ton of Easter eggs, like even just in Happy's office.
Mm-hmm.
There's like the picture of Tony and Peter from like the science fair thing,
Mhm.
and in front of it is the little kid from Iron Man.
Right.
Yeah, his
like,
helmet.
that helmet. So like that's just Kevin Feige confirmed that like yeah, that was Peter Parker.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
So it's a cool
Yeah.
little like nod to
Yeah.
that.
I think the biggest one that genuinely had my mouth open the whole time was Wesley Snipes.
Yeah, just
Once
Wesley
he
Snipes.
once he
showing up.
entered and I saw that, I was like, "What the fuck
I
is Blade
was
doing?" there?
really not expecting Wesley Snipes,
I
just
couldn't
given the
believe
fact
it.
that him and Ryan Reynolds did not like each other.
him
Mhm.
and I think Gambit too. I was like, well, how
Yeah,
the fuck-
Gambit for me, because
Yeah.
I mean we knew about
Gambit, I had
Jennifer
no
Lawrence.
idea was
Yeah.
ever going to show up, and I just think he pulled it off so well.
I mean, I feel like I
you
had
know?
like it was definitely speculation
Mhm.
that he would be in it, but
Mhm.
I don't know.
And he just played him so perfectly, just dumbly. You know, it was
Yeah.
funny.
Where are we? I don't know. I like it. Just drinking Jim Beam.
Best Wolverine ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God, he was ferocious.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he
Fight
was ferocious.
sequences, choreography, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, to come back after retiring from the character and
Yeah.
maybe putting
Unbelievable.
forward your best performance ever as the character.
And still looking great
Yeah.
for his fucking age with just the shirtless scene.
He's gonna play him till he's 90.
And honestly,
not.
rated R suits Wolverine.
Oh,
It
yeah.
really
yeah.
does.
He
It
could
really
say
does.
fuck as
Mhm.
much
Because
as he
that's
wants.
What he does.
I hope that after this movie makes the gazillion dollars that it's gonna make,
Yeah.
It's already broken records even
I
before
think
it
it's
came
like
out. It
already
broke
past
records.
200 million.
It's insane.
I hope that Marvel takes more risks.
Yeah.
You know, like just like randomly give like some fucking hero an R-rated movie.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Why not?
Mhm.
Make it fun.
Yeah, because I noticed with all the Wolverines we saw in the past movies, he's very clean
Mhm.
personally. With
Yeah.
this movie, there's no clean
Yeah.
nothing about him.
He's just able to be Wolverine.
An animal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Onto some future speculation. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if like the next movie with them is just like some like small solo, not solo because of Wolverine might be in it, but just like a solo movie in that universe, you know?
You're saying like another Deadpool movie?
Yeah, and then their appearance in Secret Wars.
I don't even know where it goes next.
Yeah,
We were
maybe
kinda
Dokken
talking about that.
set him up.
Hope. I'd like to see his son.
Yeah.
I just really hope that's the one they like pick. Because like you can't get past Hugh Jackman, I don't think, at this
Mhm.
point.
No.
I would not be shocked if they were gonna succeed him. It would be X-23 though.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
the only
yeah,
way.
Maybe
Yeah.
both. Why
She's
not both?
19.
Mhm.
Yeah.
They're already building her up.
I feel like Dokken is just such a cooler character, you know?
Mhm.
If you want to get like the Wolverine, you know?
Yeah.
My whole thing is, if Wolverine does actually end at some point, I don't want anybody else taking the mantle. I'd rather see Daphne Keane be the new female
Yes.
version of Wolverine than anybody else.
Mhm.
I mean,
Yeah.
they could just get two.
And that's my
You know?
personal opinion. I would not be happy if someone replaced him.
Yeah, I guess for me it would like depend who
Yeah.
and in what context.
I thought the scene where like Wolverines, it was just showing all the different universes of Wolverines was pretty cool.
Mhm.
But my favorite scene was the opening,
Hmm.
you know? Just like both
Mhm.
fights with Wolverine's bones. Even like when he did that and it bounced.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, that was the katana.
That was the katana.
was
he
it?
That
got
was
into
Well,
his into his neck.
Was it the katana or was he just doing the katana move?
That was the
His
only
katana.
time he
Oh.
used one of it because he said in the beginning, "I'm not going to kill you with my weapons," and then he killed them all with the bones, and that was the
And then
only
he said,
kill he
"Get
did
my
with his
country's
weapons.
name out of your fucking
So-
mouth.
Yeah.
And
I
my
forget.
sword."
Does that take place after the Matthew McFadden shit?
After.
So then
He has
he
the
already had the
TVA.
adamantium swords?
Yes.
Okay, so that's why he used it.
For me, my favorite scenes were probably their two fight scenes. It's hard for me to
Yeah.
pick between them.
Yeah, the car scene is
Probably
pretty great.
lean into the car scene a bit more.
Yeah.
But I did love the first one too.
Yeah.
Just great fucking fight choreography in those two
Yeah.
scenes.
I have to agree. The opening scene was probably my
Opening
favorite.
scene was great too.
Especially with
Though,
the song.
though no
uh,
Wolverine, but still.
We had a
Except for-
Wolverine in
Also,
it.
just like
Yeah, we
cutting
did.
to like another guy in the Deadpool suit just dancing.
Yeah.
Clearly not
Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds. So funny.
But when they showed the Wolverine skeleton, I was like, "Holy shit!
Yeah.
This is like a new low, but it works."
Yeah.
I'd have to say the car scene, just because
Mm-hmm.
Wolverine just finds out that Wade's just been pulling his dick the whole time,
Mhm.
and he just goes off verbally on him.
That was great.
Yeah.
That
too,
was
yeah.
he really got angry.
I like when he was like, "What? Got nothing to say? Mouth."
Mouth. I'm gonna fight you now,
Yeah.
and that's just I love that whole entire. I was dying laughing in my seat.
Mm-hmm.
So
And then they wake up,
Wolverine.
and Wolverine's sleeping. He's all tied up in seatbelts.
Yeah.
it's just wrapped like a mummy.
It's great.
He got him restrained finally. Oh my god.
I also love when Wolverine breaks his arm. He's like, "Oh no!" And then he goes out the other window and just it snaps.
Yeah, I'm going with the car scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really well choreographed, though. It
Mm.
really was.
And funny
Mhm.
and still serious,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
you know.
There was like even like during the action scenes, I was laughing at like how fucking good they were. At
Yeah.
times.
Awesome.
Like that first fight scene, it was just like I was so giddy just watching it. It was great.
He
Again.
just keeps stabbing him.
Mhm.
Like Wolverine, like he was just like going off like
It's a tiny
Yeah.
knife.
Baby knife.
Baby,
Baby
knife.
knife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Baby knife.
I also liked this is baby knife. She's gonna fuck you in the face.
Oh my god.
It's just like, of course, like Wade names.
And I just love because
The
even when
katanas
Wolverine-
are named after the Golden Girls.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Even when Wolverine like did the whole claws thing, Deadpool just as a joke had his little baby knives on his
Yeah.
Mhm.
ready to fight him.
But you did notice
Yeah.
that while they were fighting each other. There was no attempt at Wolverine trying to cut his leg off, or cut his arm off, or cut his head
It
off.
was just stabbing.
It was just they were just going for pain.
Yeah.
You know, the absolute.
Just great action in this movie.
My least favorite scene, it was kind of just like the whole here's how we got here sequence. Like I said, it just doesn't, like flow from scene to scene that well. Like the jokes and everything in it were good,
Right.
but I don't know.
Yeah, for me, least favorite scene was the meeting with Happy Hogan.
Yeah, I have
Yeah.
to go along with that. It was just flat. Not a whole lot of stuff.
Pretty sure.
Maybe it was supposed to be like that, but it was kind of flat.
Like, I see what they're going for, but it just didn't hit the mark as far as, like, exposition into, like, why Wade...
Yeah, it wasn't
even
very
wrapped up in this.
inspirational. It wasn't very, it was super flat.
Yeah.
Even the way walking him out the door, it was kind of like,
Yeah.
what's your superpower? You drive a fucking car?
Yeah, parallel parking.
It's also weird that takes place like
Before the snap.
yeah, even though he's fucking clearly older.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I didn't like the woe is me part. I'm sorry. The beginning where he's kind of like,
Yeah.
that just was like,
Yeah.
let's get by this quick.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I just kind of tuned out whenever like even when they was showing Deadpool's like memories, I just didn't care that much.
Yeah.
What do you guys think that he wished for? I think
Maybe to join the MCU.
that's, like, some people are saying
Yeah.
that.
I have to say my least favorite scene is when he's just thinking about his wife again. I felt like it's kind of repetitive, that it's almost in every freaking movie that something goes wrong with his wife and he's just like, ugh.
Yeah.
I got kind of tired of seeing that.
Also, fucking just like an asshole. Like, just say, like, just manipulative,
Yeah,
It didn't
literally.
really feel like
Just say you don't love me anymore. And I was like, what the?
it's just such a weird thing, like a Deadpool movie.
Yeah, that scene was not my favorite.
All right, final rating.
7.
Really?
Seriously?
Do you know that guy?
I really liked all of like. Okay, so it's
He's
like
still stuck on this flat
it's
storyline.
a 10 out of
thing.
10 for like everything else. Not everything else, I guess, because I don't know. I just thought the story fucking sucked.
Okay.
All right.
And like the character arcs were not as good as Deadpool 2.
Okay.
All right.
Unlike my co-host here, I'm gonna go and give it a 10 out of 10. Solid 10 out of 10. Delicious, beautiful movie.
I'm at an 8.5 myself. And yeah, the storyline was a little flat. I loved the movie, though. I thought it was definitely worth seeing. My thing is, though, does it save the MCU? Does it give us that answer? Does it tell us what's coming next? It didn't do any of that. I think we're all anticipating it's going to do that, but I don't know if it landed on that.
Yeah.
So I'm at 8.5.
I'm at a 9.
Mhm.
Totally fit the bill entertainment wise.
Yes.
I wouldn't give it a perfect 10 only because pretty much what you said. I was kind of hoping for that solid merge going forward,
Yeah.
and it kind of left us
Mhm.
still nowhere. But
Yeah.
as a solo separate movie from everything else,
Yeah.
it fulfilled everything I thought.
Yeah, and I think it's setting up for another movie, but
Mhm.
I don't know what that's going to
Yeah,
be.
where that can go.
Yeah.
For me, I'm also gonna go 8.5.
Mhm.
I thought that this one was incredibly fun.
Yes.
It was more fun than I thought it would be somehow.
Mhm.
My only gripes were that it feels like at times it's missing the meat and potatoes a little
Yeah.
bit.
Mhm.
I think I may like Deadpool 1 a little bit more than this one.
Really?
That's
But-
surprising.
Pretty close.
I think Deadpool 2 is still like the best in my eyes.
I don't know if I think Deadpool 2 is probably the worst for me out of the three.
In my opinion, it's 7, 8, 7.
On a micro scale, we don't know how this affects the MCU. On a macro scale, I think we know how this affects the MCU financially.
Oh, yeah.
It seems like,
Oh, yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And maybe, hopefully they take more
Mhm.
risks. Seems
Yeah.
like they're going to be taking more risk given they just fucking hired their,
Yeah.
franchise cornerstone
Yeah.
hero to be the next franchise cornerstone.
I
villain.
don't know. It's kind of like a anti-risk,
Well, that's
It's
pretty
like
fucking risky.
going back to the basics, I'd say.
But taking a guy that,
I mean, I know, but like it's an anti-risk because it's like it's like tried and true.
I'd
kind
say
of,
the
you know?
anti-risk part of it is the Russo brothers directing.
I mean, I'd say I trust them.
With that, I definitely am going to need to see like a different, lens of them. I don't want the same two movies again.
Who do you think Cassandra killed? Doctor Strange or Wong?
Doctor Strange.
Yeah, I think it
it's-
was Strange
it's even like
myself.
Deadpool goes like Strange.
Hmm.
So
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I think it's
Yeah.
supposed to be. Yeah.
Peter's friend.
That'd just be horrible.
Yeah, Ned never appears in the MCU again.
Yeah. All right, that was our discussion on Deadpool and Wolverine. Next episode, we'll be watching The Mask with Jim Carrey. So subscribe to Cape Critiquers, hit the notification bell to never miss an upload, and like this video. Bye.
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 so we'll give them the mask.